All right. I call this meeting to order, the Jefferson County Historic Landmarks Commission. It's April 8th, 2026, and the time is 7:03. So the minutes, we don't have them today. There's a little kind of technical thing that glitch that happened, so we're going to approve those at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Public comment? No? Okay,
Sorry, are we meant to be live
yeah,
online?
yeah, we are.
It's offline currently. Yeah. I mean, there might be a delay, but.
Because it says,
Are you AV Tech?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're live on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay.
okay, so we're good. Okay, thanks. New business, there was a letter sent by the county commission asking for the county commission liaisons to be voting representatives of the boards. And we had already talked about this before. So you guys good?
We're not. That's the wrong way.
Was it the wrong link from the agenda?
Yeah, no, from county commission to post it. I reposted what they.
Oh, so they had a different link. Okay.
Yeah, I think that
All right,
there was a different link. So, but
Okay.
it is live now, but
All right. So yeah, I mean, this is something that the county wants. I mean, I'm absolutely fine with having the county commission representative being a voting member. And then because then that would create an even number of voting members on the board, we were talking about also adding one more member. So any discussion on that?
That seems logical. If we end up with even membership, it kind of opens us up to problems that we don't have rules for ties in the.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Sounds like a good idea to me.
this
Does
is,
sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Does the commission have to act other than appointing an additional Landmarks Commission member? Do they have to approve our request to add an additional voting member?
I'm not sure about that. We talked about that at a meeting a while ago because Jack had mentioned about adding additional members. I guess we could vote on it and then we can confirm through them, and hopefully he's on the way and he can give us some information too. He might already know the answer to that.
Sorry if I missed the discussion. Why are we adding a new member?
Because the county commission has asked that all boards have the county commission liaison as a voting member of the board, and then that would leave us with an even number of people. So if they also can vote, so then it's kind of to have a tiebreaker vote
Oh, I
person on the
see.
board.
I see. So we would make Jack a voting member,
Yeah.
a
And here he
voting
is, so-
representative. And then we need to add another member for any potential tie breaks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jack, we're talking about you. It's a good time for you. We're talking about you becoming a voting member of the board.
Oh, well, continue.
Well, and Lee just had one question about, because we're talking about adding you as a voting member, and then also add one more additional
That makes sense.
member, so there's an odd number. Is there any special things that we need to go through to change the number of members on our board, other than,
Your
is that,
bylaws
I was going to say, is that in our bylaws?
and determine the year of the appointee for how long. And in my case, it should just read whoever the county commission sends as a representative. So nothing.
Yeah, just the
yeah.
county commission liaison, and then we'll update our bylaws.
I don't know if you want to stagger the other one, but you should probably get somebody on right away.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, depending upon how you want to do it. So.
okay.
Okay.
Hey.
Are they all, they're all 3-year terms, right? So
Yeah.
I think we'll just go with that. Does that sound good?
And I'm planning on getting reappointed to this board every year.
Well, I
For
hope
my
so.
term.
Yeah,
So
we need you.
I'm the most historic.
You
For
are.
many reasons, I'm also the oldest.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so, any motion here?
I would be happy to move that we expand our membership by one and notify the county commission of that decision. And also, I guess at such time as that member is appointed, we give voting rights to our commission liaison.
Or should you be expanding it to two?
One additional commission, one additional landmarks commission member, and then giving voting rights
Okay.
to the commission liaison.
I just want to make sure it's perfectly clear to everyone in the peanut gallery. And make sure Eddie knows,
Yeah,
because she'll put you on the agenda. You know, she'll put out a notice for.
yeah,
applicants.
we need to get that, yeah.
Mm.
Okay, David seconded, all in favor? Well,
Aye.
do we say discussion again? No? Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All right. Passes unanimously. Okay, so the next thing is discussion and vote on drawing down available funds from endowments held by the Eastern West Virginia Community Foundation. So Elizabeth, do you know the most about this? We were looking at it, or do you?
I think Elizabeth probably knows more.
So I neglected to prepare the exact amounts that are available to us, but there are 3 endowments, 2 for the Peter Burr Farm that we can use for projects, and then 1 for preservation efforts in the community that we can grant to other community members. Addison and I had discussed opening up those funds for ground penetrating radar work at Mount Zion Free Will Baptist Church in preparation for a conduit that has to be run from the new electric pole to the church. And
Well, just as a update, if you guys remember, that's Johnsontown, and we got the grant to get electric back in the church, and they need to do a new line. And so they were saying that we have plans to help them get grants to do like a full restoration of the church. And so obviously the preferred would be to go underground, but it is surrounded by a graveyard. So we were just going to get a little bit of ground penetrating radar going up toward the building to make sure there's nothing there. And that was also recommended by the electrician. So we were just seeing where to pull the funds because all the money from the grant is paying for the electric already. It's adding up over time to be a little bit more than what we initially thought, but
yeah,
it'll make such a huge difference for that place.
so that fund has approximately $12,000 in it. So we could allocate some of those funds for the conduit work and then to cover the extra cost of the electrical work. If you'd like, we could also open up applications for other organizations in the community to apply to do work. But that is up to you. And then in terms of the Peter Burr funds, I would request that we pull $500 for various projects, including repairs to the fence, paint for the informational kiosk, and then a new interpretive display for the informational kiosk.
Any thought?
The only thought that I've got is for the ground penetrating radar, because we've been talking to Geomodal about doing the Catholic Cemetery in Shepherdstown.
Mhm,
Their minimum is $3,000 to come out.
mhm.
So just keep that in mind. as,
Yeah, we'll probably have to use someone else for that job because it's a pretty small job.
Right.
We'll see what other companies, because the one company, their prices are so low that I'm concerned about the
Right.
accuracy of their readings. But there might be some other companies as well. I don't know if we could pair jobs together if somebody was traveling.
Right.
We still haven't heard about because we applied for the state, what's it called?
The survey and
Survey and planning grant for the ground penetrating radar for cemeteries. So I mean, this is possibly like a big project across the board,
Okay.
but.
Okay.
Okay, so is the only thing are we voting, these are different funds. So the Peter Burr one, I move that we take $500 out of that fund that we already have to pay for the things that Elizabeth mentioned.
I'll second.
Discussion. about that.
What's the timeline for this project and when are we thinking about doing the GPR for it? And
That's different. That is are you talking about Johnsontown? That's just,
yeah,
that is, we have a grant. We are working on the electric. We want to get things moving as much as we can. We're having to deal with a little issue with the trustees. So getting some paperwork squared away, but we need to get it done soon so that they can finish that work within the grant period.
So that's due in July.
okay.
So a pretty quick turnaround.
Okay, so but we're looking to hire a GPR survey firm to do that work?
Well, we didn't,
Or-
we're not get that far yet. We're just making sure that we're just talking about where we're pulling that money from because the grant money is fully spent on the electric, but we just want to do it right with making sure there's no graves there. It's on the other side of the road from where there's marked graves, but we know there's sometimes unmarked graves. So, yeah, so, that's also something that we can take, we have income from our properties from Osborne and stuff. So, it's not going to cost us that much money to get that job done. So we don't have to pull that from these other places. So if we can vote on Peter Burr first, which seconded, all in favor?
Could I just ask?
Yeah.
For that, you said painting and the fence, a new informational kiosk,
Mhm.
and I'm sorry, what was the third thing?
Yeah, so I would like $80 to purchase whitewash to whitewash the fence and the root cellar door. $200. I think that's a high estimate for replacement wood for the fence. Approximately $50 for paint for the informational kiosk. $50 for interpretive display materials, and then I would also like to purchase cleaning supplies for the bathroom.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I had it down.
Absolutely.
And just by way of comment, I think Jack and I may be the only ones who were on the commission when Martin pushed to establish these funds. And I'm sure he would be very happy to see that they're now, have come to a point where we can disperse some of it. So
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Point
Aye.
of order.
What?
Am I voting?
Can we make him an immediate voting member? Is that how this works? Sure.
Okay, 'cause of course, I've been on this, one of your guests for a long time.
Yeah,
And I'm happy to report that you haven't had any votes that I disagree with.
we'll agree. So this is just, now you can really just emphasize that you support what we're doing. Okay, so,
We voted to make Jack a voting member though, right?
Yes,
Already?
yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's
Yeah.
official. Okay.
yep. Okay, so do we want to use this funding for Johnsontown or just take that out of our general fund? We could send the bill for that to the county because they hold all of our hotel motel tax stuff. So we send them invoices. So, if that's okay with everyone, we can just pay for it that way too.
What is the opportunity cost of taking this money out of that fund as opposed to paying for it from our regular flow? Like, what might we miss out on if we?
I don't know what kind of interest we're getting on these funds, but the money's going to come out of the checking account, which means that we're earning nothing on it. So I would suggest we just write a check for it and
Yeah, I think, it's good for us to be using our hotel motel tax too as we get it. So we can just invoice the GPR if that's okay. I move to invoice the ground penetrating radar for Johnsontown from our hotel motel.
Seconded.
Wait, John Henry needs to come back. Okay, we move to use money from the hotel motel for that GPR work. All in favor?
aye.
Wait, did somebody second? I moved, you seconded. Okay, sorry. I got thrown off by him coming back. Okay, and then that was another, so that fund, is it 14,000-ish? That was for that people could be applying to use.
It's a little bit higher than $12,000.
Okay, so do we have to vote on that being like something that we open up to?
I don't think we technically have to vote.
I think
but
that's how it
it's good
goes.
on record.
if I could suggest for that purpose, if it's within, your bandwidth, I know that you're doing a lot, that we have some sort of system set up with
Mhm.
both, the forms that needed to be filled out, good examples of things that the funds could be used for, very clear examples of things they cannot be used for. And then, and again, I know this is a lot, but if we're able to maybe have, and it can even be by Zoom, some sort of informational session
Yeah,
so that folks can, not waste their time applying if they're not eligible.
we'll have to set also a max amount, that can be used. Well, maybe then we'll discuss this at our next meeting. We'll put it on the agenda for then we can be thinking about what kind of rules we would like to put in place for that. And then, how we can bring the community in so they understand what we're offering.
And maybe also we can partner with some other groups like the Middle Way Conservancy, the Black Preservation Alliance, I don't have the title right, the Black Historic Preservation Society, and other groups in Jefferson County who might, be interested in alerting their membership as well.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so we'll talk about that next time because there's a little more that needs to go into that. Okay, so wait. Okay, this is the continued discussion about the proposed amendment to the subdivision and land regulations. We have not heard from the planning commission or office about this anymore. I don't know what you know, Jack. It's not on their agenda for next week. And as far as the planning office, they told her they say it wasn't on their radar right now, or I can't remember how you said they worded it, but
I think that it just had not been set up at this point.
so I guess we're still in discussion, but the problem with that is they have changed the rules for developers right now. So until we get this right, they have just made a sweeping choice to not require this archaeological survey, even though it's the rule. They're not requiring it right now. So the longer this goes on, they're getting away with not doing it.
I'll touch base with my contact, Kara Keys.
Okay, yeah,
who,
I think that'd be
an
good.
Influence with them.
And they have new
Good
members.
news is they haven't acted against what we want. So that's good news. Some other news is we got 2 new members on the planning commission. I was hoping for 3.
I thought it was 3. Wasn't it 3?
No, Mr. Smith was, Tim Smith was already on the board.
Oh, he just renewed.
Yeah, he just
Okay.
renewed.
Okay.
So I was hoping for 3. I pushed for John Henry.
I tried, but
Oh, I thought you gave a really good interview.
it was not
That's
meant to
just my
be.
2 cents. And as far as I'm concerned, you're eminently qualified, and
Appreciate it.
there's always next year if you're still interested.
We'll try it when it's not an election year.
Yeah, well, throw your name in the hat. You can count on me nominating you from the.
Who's point from planning commission for this? Who's our
I
contact from there?
assume, Addison would be the person who would get the information.
No,
about
from
the
planning
meeting.
commission.
Oh, on the planning commission? Well, it might be Tim Smith, might be the chair. But
Yeah, he was. I mean, is it still, I thought I guess he got reappointed, so maybe he just is remaining the president? We'll have to
yeah, he
figure-
should stay, because I think they elect president at the beginning of each calendar year.
So
So he would probably continue as president.
And it's the planning office that kind of steers the stuff. That's who we arranged everything with before. So
Yeah,
I
Luke
guess we need to see
Siegfried
where they
and-
are with this.
But the amendment was to change what's currently in place, right? And that amendment was not passed, as I understand it. So
No, but they made a sweeping choice at a meeting a long time ago that they were not going to require until they had this change written. So that, I don't think that's probably right, but they were.
They're
I don't
choosing
know how
to
to say.
Jack, you're on the county commission. Do you know that the county code has been amended to
As far as I
exclude
know,
phase
it
1
has-
archaeological surveys at
as
this
far as I
point?
know,
No,
it's not been amended yet. And I'm not sure.
what they.
The way it's supposed to work is any sort of amendment is supposed to be passed
Well,
by the
Media
planning
Farm-
commission
Media
and
Farm was the
forwarded to
one.
County commission, so we haven't seen it, so.
Well, it was Media Farm was the first one, and that was who basically convinced them to try to change the rule, and they were interpreting it as they don't have to do the archaeology until and then they were pursuing the amendment after they made this sweep, and they said for all projects right now, they just weren't going to require that.
Yeah,
So
I don't think that they've changed anything. I think they're just not enforcing what
Yeah.
is there. So I think that they're just kind of,
So we need to kind of pressure them to let's settle this, because they're interpreting it as if they have already amended it, even though they haven't.
And the joint meeting that we had in this very room, I was under the impression that the meeting was going to continue
Mhm.
this month.
Yeah,
So
and that's
I'd
what they
like-
said at that
I'd like to
meeting.
know why it didn't. Elizabeth, can you check with Eddie and find out about that?
I will reach out to her tomorrow.
Okay,
Okay. So yeah, nothing's really changed there. That's just a little update, because they did tell us that we were going to continue this in April. And they, like I said, their agenda for next week does not include any discussion of it from what I saw. Unless they update their agenda. That was an advanced agenda, so sometimes they do make little changes at the end, because it's not till next Tuesday.
that's
mean,
very,
the-
very possible.
But I would think their agenda would have had to come out like today to be within Open Meetings Act rules. So maybe it's remaining the same. I'm not sure. We'll look into it. Okay, update about the website. You
Oh.
and me.
Well, you got the first notice. You want to start?
So now I can't remember if you guys know this or not, but the domain they were having us try to track down what our domain password was. And then about a month into us doing that, IT had it all along. So they had our password all along for that. They paid to renew our domain. And but then they said our site is still corrupt, so we have to rebuild it. So
Can
we
you,
were immediately.
what do they mean by corrupt?
What do they mean? I don't, it's because it's going through
Part-
foreign countries and it's
Part of it
built
was
on a
that
dead, what they call end-of-life server.
they shut the server down because they're going from the .org server to a .gov server that will not be hosted in Martinsburg. Our issue was that because they had set it up, that the IDs of who the contacts were for the website were protected. So you couldn't see it through a who is search. They did this through Namecheap. Namecheap uses Iceland servers to do it because of the laws in
It's not Iceland servers. That's the name of the privacy
it's hosted-
protection
no.
service. That's not where those servers are hosted. That was the name, that was
It's
where,
coming out of Reykjavik.
that is where the
Okay,
anonymization.
Okay, well, just.
No,
let
no,
it- we'll
hold on,
finish
hold
telling
on,
you
hold
about-
on, hold on. That is not where the servers are hosted.
That's fine.
That is
Okay.
where the anonymization service is incorporated.
It's going through the-
Let me finish, please. That is where
this
the
needs to
name
be
of the
peaceful.
company that anonymizes domain registrars is incorporated. That is not where the servers are hosted. They are not hosted in Iceland.
The company is in Florida. And it's coming out of Reykjavik, which is what the problem is, why they claim to have shut it down.
It doesn't matter anymore.
It
But-
does matter.
but-
These
Well,
matter,
we've
these
already started
details.
to rebuild the website, so it
okay.
doesn't matter.
No, it does. It does matter. Sorry. And I'm not going to let this go until we resolve the exact technical details of why it's taken 3 months.
That's
So-
IT, that's not us.
Okay, well, then then I'd like to have a discussion with Gabriel Arizaga,
Yeah.
Edwina Benitez, Jack, and anybody else who cares to join this, because frankly, this is taken way too long.
At
I
any
agree.
rate,
It's 3 months for a website to be offline simply to renew a domain and
you
upload
are
it.
correct about
This
that.
is unacceptable. In any private, capacity or corporate capacity, you would be fired.
Yes, we've been
You'd be
dealing with this for a
fired
long time. We're very frustrated.
Okay,
as well.
well, then who's accountable?
So
Who is accountable?
Gabriel has transferred it to him because whoever was the owner of the website is no longer with the county, apparently. He got control of it because he has taken control of it just about a month ago. There's a 60-day lock on changing control of it again. So he's got the control. He made me Tuesday, gave me technical contact. So now I can change where it's being hosted.
Okay, so that's Network Solutions LLC currently is the current domain registrar, as I understand it.
Mhm.
And that was
That's,
done by Gabriel?
Yeah,
Is
yes.
that correct?
yeah.
Okay,
After
so
I-
he can now redirect the DNS servers for this website
Yeah.
to any hosting space. Is that correct?
Yes,
He has that capacity
so do I,
and you do too. Okay,
as of Tuesday.
okay.
Yeah, he can't change ownership for 60 days, which is another 30 days out. But yes, we can change where it's hosted at this point.
Is it going to be turned into a .gov, wv.gov domain, or is it going to keep
We're not
as?
talking about all that. We're just trying to get it live. We haven't
Just
even
get
asked.
something up.
This is a discussion about the JCHLC website, and I'd like to get this
We don't have
discussion
answers is
solved.
what we're saying.
Okay, well, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
well,
asking
Yeah,
for.
we don't have
What-
answers. I just
so
said that.
What I was told a little over a month ago was that he was going to fix the problems because, it's not ADA compliant, which I suspect is just the alt text on pictures. But he was going to bring it back up on the server in Martinsburg. But because they are transferring from .org to .gov, that would only allow us to be up until August or September. And then it was going to go down again. And I said that wasn't acceptable
Why would it go down again?
because they are getting rid of the .org.
Okay,
And
so
they-
currently
they have-
Jefferson County wv.org is hosted on servers in Martinsburg,
I don't know where they are hosted now. They were in Martinsburg.
right?
Can I ask, I know we've talked about this before, but just so that I'm clear and that nothing's changed, all of the content by way of our minutes, our national and county historical registered, everything is fine as far as content. We've not lost any.
We've got-
We're rebuilding the whole thing with all of that stuff.
I just wanted to make sure we didn't lose anything.
No,
other
you
than
can get it
content.
from.
There's some minutes that I have not been able to get, but we think Addison's got a CD with the minutes that I couldn't get off of the website.
Okay, I just want to make sure none of that changed in this
Because
evolving
Those
Yeah.
links were all
situation.
broken.
We hope not.
My understanding from the last meeting we had on this in February or whenever it was that website, our website, was hosted on premise here, on a computer here. And that was the reason for shutting it down, because that did not conform to the current IT department or Jefferson County or West Virginia state rules on where these websites can be hosted. So can you answer, where is the data hosted? On what machine is the data hosted for this website?
My understanding is they were using some company that's got servers in Martinsburg.
To host HLC or the
As far
HLC
as I know
website?
everything.
Okay,
So we haven't lost anything.
No. We can completely reproduce what we had. Hopefully looking a little bit nicer.
what's next steps for when that's going to happen, or for, and who's going to be doing that work?
I've put together a couple of pages to just in the next couple of days, depending on what we decided here, we'll have something up. So it's not completely dead. However, I emailed everybody and Elizabeth printed, and here's the proposal from Mindcross about completely redoing the site.
Okay, my understanding from you, Lyle, in the last meeting was that you had the technical capacity to restore this website. Why are we going to a third party and potentially paying $3,000 to $5,000 for services that you said you could do and that I know I can do?
I can do it. However, I'm working on Duffields. I'm working on cemetery restoration. I'm also working at Fur, and I'm nearly a part-time job on treasurer.
I've volunteered several times to
We're
help
good.
get this
We're
website
gonna,
back up.
we're gonna pay.
No, we're not good. The website's still down. We're not good.
Well, we're
It's
very
not
close
done.
to it.
It's not done. And I've volunteered several times to do this for free because I've done it for the last 20 years. So can I ask, why are we trying to engage an outside firm for $3,000 to $5,000 of our very limited budget when we've got two people apparently on this board who can actually do this technically for free. Why are we engaging an outside firm for this service?
Well, first off, what would be your timeline for doing this?
I could get this done in a week.
And you can promise that?
Yeah. And I did promise that in an email to everybody before. If I can get access
Your
to the domain
hostility is
name.
a little tricky to work with, so that's why we were trying to sort it out. and we
I'm
were
not
working with the county.
hostile. I'm not hostile. I'm trying to be
I've never
helpful
been
here.
yelled at
So
one of our meetings before. so
no one's
I-
yelling.
So
Oh.
let me ask a question here. And I'm not attempting to be impertinent to our IT department, but does the planning commission have to do their own website? I mean, do other county boards have to either contract outside or have someone from the board do it? Or does the IT department provide that service? And if the answer is that they do, and I'm not, this is for our general conversation. I'm curious why the IT department couldn't also recreate ours. I mean, we are a
Yeah.
county board.
They can barely respond to my emails, so.
And it's taken us 3 months to get to this point.
I mean, I emailed him last week to say we're ready to transfer over the domain, and then I had to do a follow-up email a week later. And then it was, oh, wait, sorry, we can't for 60 days. So it's like, I mean, this is,
Well, and
You know.
I'm not doubting
Yeah,
John Henry's
so-
ability or Lyle's or anyone's, but it would just, it sort of, it goes
no,
back
it's just,
to.
yeah, that's how I felt about it.
Yeah, just, I kind of feel like we're always and Jack, I appreciate everything you did everything that you do to mitigate this, but I often feel like we're sort of like the weird stepchild who lives under the
Exactly.
stairs. And, I take John Henry's point that we do have limited finances. I mean, is it worth asking the IT department again in a more formal manner?
So I guess I would like to jump back to maybe 2 meetings from now or 2 meetings ago. So that was probably December. We did have a discussion. Ms. Benitez did offer to have the county host our website, but the caveat was that all content would be approved by the county commission. So in December, we had come to the agreement that that was not necessarily how we wanted to move forward. If that has changed.
I was apparently giddy from the holidays and I
We're-
did not remember that.
I don't remember hearing that either.
I mean, I'm not doubting that it happened,
Yes.
but
Recently, the county has offered to host a page for us,
And that's what I think they're willing to do, is to work on a page.
a page.
This was, we paid for this website in 2009, I think, or 7. We built this, our board paid to build it. And like, it's always been independent. That's why when he paid to renew the domain and then it was like owned by the county, I said that I wanted our board to be in full control of our own website for the future, especially because it was so frustrating that they had the password after us looking for a month. I mean, I was talking to people at Martin's funeral to try to figure out where we could locate this information. I mean, it was ridiculous. So it was kind of like, we want to be independent of that so that doesn't happen again.
And Gabriel had no idea who was hosting the website, where it was being paid for, anything. And I mentioned 5 minutes into the conversation with him, I mentioned Namecheap and, oh, wait a second. And he started typing and gee, found, user ID and password. Password had expired, but, and that was a month into the site being down. So I don't have a lot of confidence in the county taking this over.
But we've got the domain control. You've got the password. You can redirect the DNS
I can
servers to wherever we want to host it on, correct?
now.
And you have all the content, the original with all the WordPress admin files to?
No, they didn't
re-upload?
give me all of the WordPress files.
Who didn't give you this?
The county. But I've got all the text and all the photographs and most of the PDFs that I downloaded.
Why did they not give you the WordPress admin files?
You'd have to talk to them.
Okay, I will.
We've requested.
At this
several
point, I will. The fact that this has taken so long and has gotten so convoluted this is not a complicated issue. It's a matter of uploading files to a web server. This is done every day. all
We
over
get
the
that.
world.
We've been on their
And so,
timeline.
you know,
We've been on
it,
their timeline. That's why.
And
It's not.
right. But this is, I mean, just so it's clear, this is why people think government doesn't get anything done, and I'm not blaming anybody here. This is the kind of stuff that really pisses people off when, this is not a complicated issue and could have been solved within a couple weeks if we just had a sit down with the county chief IT officer,
Lyle
Gabriel,
did. Lyle
with
did.
Edwina Benitez and myself, and we just worked this out. But instead, we had a bunch of crosstalk on emails, a bunch of people, kind of subverting each other.
They only
And
wanted
now
to
we're
speak
3
to
months
one
out,
person.
we're 3 months out with a website that's been down for 3 months.
They only want to communicate with one person from this board. They made that very clear. And so that's why I have had to be the person who is talking to everyone about it.
Well, that
I'm
hasn't
very
worked.
frustrated as well. Can you stop raising your voice to me? I
I'm not
don't think
raising
you
my
are. It
voice.
feels like you are.
Well,
So where are we?
We just finally got a response from Gabriel yesterday, and we are getting control of the domain. And so that's what's happening.
I think the action item potentially is a vote for who we want to have do this work.
Well, before we go there, we have to decide where we're going to host it. Mindcross has suggested either Wix or Squarespace because of the ease of design. We could also use Network Solutions. And there's dozens of others, but those are kind of the top contenders in my mind. I'd like to suggest that we go with their recommendation of Squarespace.
is the county required to host our website?
No. I mean, maybe.
We
They will
are a
give us
county
page. They will give us a
department, right?
page. We have a page. We have a
Right.
page now. That's where our minutes have been sitting, or our like agenda and that kind of stuff is on our page on the county website. So they are giving us what they have offered us.
Right, which is a splash page essentially, but
Yeah.
they are unwilling at this point to host the entire WordPress website with all of the archives over the last, however
Well,
many
I-
years it's been online.
I
We don't
don't
want them
think
to.
that they've said that they're unwilling to do it in the configuration that it is in now. They have not committed or said no to the concept wholeheartedly of hosting everything, but there were concerns about the size of all of the files that we have. They did not think that the whole website would necessarily be able to fit on the feature page, but the conversations that I was in, I think in December, were pretty largely theoretical. So nothing has been closed off completely, but there's no clear path forward there.
Are there,
I think we want to control our own website.
yeah, I agree fully.
So, I mean,
And-
whether they are willing to or not doesn't really matter right now.
Are there other examples of like, for example, Parks and Recs and other divisions of the county government? Are those hosted under Jefferson County Commission's web space or web?
It's very similar to you guys insofar as yes and no. Because Parks and Rec is kind of semi-independent. And I always thought you guys were kind of semi-independent also, because when you went on the old page, it was redirected to someplace else. And that's pretty much how Parks and Recs, as I believe all the other boards in the county domain, or I should say umbrella, are pretty much tied into the county website. And I think that was the idea, was to try to bring everybody under one umbrella as best they could. Now, what I'm finding out is it just may not be, you guys may have a lot more than what they anticipated. And that can be a problem, because I didn't think there was any size limitation on any of this, so.
Our website has a lot of content.
I'm
Yeah.
wondering if one of the other examples that might be most similar to us would be the South Jefferson Library. The county commission's responsible for appointing the board of the South Jefferson Library, but obviously they maintain their own site, as you know, and I'm sure all of you know, through TLC. So and I don't know that this is helpful, but it just struck me, so I thought I would share it, that maybe that's an example of closest to us.
Jack, do you know of any guiding document the county commission has as to IT resources and,
No, I don't.
and what these various subcommissions of the county commission need
If-
to do for their IT policy and the plan?
I don't know of any. If anybody knows, I would assume it'd be Eddie. 'Cause she seems to have a handle on everything. She never ceases to amaze me when I ask her some obtuse question. She's able to get an answer for me.
I'd love to have an official answer
Isn't that
on
her right
what
there?
their,
Isn't that her right there?
I'd love to have an official answer on what the actual county policy is for various subcommittees. And
Eddie's right behind you,
okay, well,
so you can
She must have. heard
interrogate
stuff.
her.
is there any official county policy on commissions such as the Historic Landmarks Commission as far as IT goes and where websites are hosted? Like we're looking for guidance on, what is the official county policy?
County websites.
Oh, no, I only turned on these. I will swivel this.
Oop.
I'm so sorry.
With regard to the county website, the county website's only posted at, right now, jeffersoncounty.wv.org, and it will be moving to jeffco.wv.gov.
No, I meant commissions such as the Historic Landmarks Commission, Parks and Rec, other sub-commissions of the county government, basically,
It's my
where,
understanding that all are rolling under the .gov. And,
okay.
I think there's a discussion here about whether you will, but I think everyone else is rolling under the .gov.
Well, we just want to make sure we're conforming to county policy here. And so if we've got an independent website that we're controlling ourselves, I want to make sure we're not running afoul of actual county code and what your current IT policy is. So do you have any insight for us as to, where should this be hosted and what's our process for restoring our website?
So on our website, we are in the process of moving to the .gov. And right now, it's my understanding where you're hosted is going through the Netherlands and lacks the security that's required for our website. So if you want to put your meeting minutes and everything that you have, we would love to host it on our website. And you have someone here that will have the ability to have access and update it. If you want to maintain that separately from the county, you have done that in the past, so you're welcome to continue to do it. I think that we're kind of searching for a problem when there doesn't have to be one. Right now, we're moving to a new .gov. We'd love to have you there. If you don't want to be there, you don't have to be.
Could we host
But
the
you will
entirety
be-
of our previous website there on a new .gov domain?
Let's make it clear, you want to put it on the county's .gov, or you want to do it on a separate .gov?
I'd like to do whatever this board wants to do, but I just want to ask you if there's space where we could actually host the entirety of our previously existing website
I don't
on
think
new
that-
servers.
That'd be a problem, and I really like that you're hosting it now in this room. And we're doing things that would require a lot of bandwidth, like video, that requires a lot of bandwidth. It's automatically going, she has it going right now to YouTube, so you have an entire playlist. So in perpetuity, everything will be all there in one spot, and it'll just be linked through the website. Other things that you want, minutes, sure, awesome. If you have reports that you want, awesome, that's perfect. We'll get them on there. And you have to understand that it's not just this commission. It's things like the planning commission, which has even more documents. It's not an issue of the number of documents. That should all be fine. So I think you're good to go.
So there's
whole
no
thing-
size limitation.
But the whole thing with our domain was that we wanted to keep it the same because it's on our brochures. It's
Right.
something we've used forever. So we're fine with staying .org. I think most of us have talked about this, that we're fine with staying .org and then having our landing page on the website.
Agreed.
So having
Yeah.
a landing page with your board members, because we want the website to be something that is very consistent. Then we could include a link there that redirects them to everything else and say, hey, here's one for all the minutes. If that could be on our website, that would be fantastic. Here's a link to all the videos from all the meetings that have since started being recorded. And then for additional information on, the reports that you have. see here and go to your .org. I think that that's fantastic, and that kind of bridges the gap between the two. But if I'm missing something,
Where's the Netherlands servers thing coming from? I haven't seen that. And where did that come from, that where the old website was being hosted on servers in the Netherlands?
and we had to take whatever was down because it was going through someone else. And then I think that that's been fixed, or it's
Yeah.
in the process of being
Yeah.
fixed, something like that. So that's great. We'll move over to a new .gov where everything's uniform, and then you can control the layout that matches the .gov, that matches your brochures, and that's fantastic. So, I mean, our job, I don't want to insert myself into what appears to be an internal debate about what it should look like. My goal is that we just want to be, one, for constituents, that there's a landing page for all boards and commissions. I think that we'll have that. And then two, that you're able to provide the extra information and extra constituent services that you're trying to provide. And
Before you walk by, that wasn't really the conversation. John Henry was asking what the role of IT is for assisting us with our website. That was like kind of what he was talking about, because he was saying it's taken so long. Like, does the county normally help people with their websites? But ours is different because it was an independent website. So I don't know if that's a reason for
Yeah,
them to not
so-
help us rebuild it and stuff.
And that's the issue, is the county has to be responsible for county stuff, and for independent websites, our IT doesn't want to take the liability of helping you out on your own, right? So we want to be as helpful as possible, but not do independent websites, because if that website fails or corrupts or doesn't have the same security standards that ours do, we don't want to be pulled into that concern. So any way that we can be helpful, just let me know. And right now I just was able to hand off economic development, but you can see tonight I'm still doing a little bit of economic development, teaching a class on small business over there. So we're opening up space where we can do things like design the website, but it just takes a little bit of time to hand off that economic development stuff.
Well, so it's clear, I don't think the website needs to be redesigned. I think it just needs to be re-uploaded as it was.
And so.
And that's the thing, where I feel like the conflict is coming in here, where this is a quote unquote independent website, but you guys took it down. You took down our website. So that's not independent. That means you have some degree of control over it. And so that's why I'm trying to get clarity of who controls the website, and how do we make it so that we are in conformance with the apparent security violations that caused you guys to take it down?
So our responsibility is for the Jefferson County WV.org website. And I have to, whatever Gabriel says, he's got a significant experience in IT security, and whatever he says goes. And so we'll move forward with, if you want information on there, send it on over and we'll get it up there. If you want this layout and you want your individual .org loaded onto the website, that creates some problems and a lot of work we're going to a new website. So we don't want to redesign this website now, when literally in months, we're launching a new website from A to Z for every board, commission, department, elected office. So
I can tell you right now, if Gabriel created a redirect of, historic landmarks, Jefferson County WV.gov, to just go to jeffersoncountyhlc.org, and that would be the end of it for you guys. It's not so hard. This isn't hard. It's a really just a redirect of a domain that he would establish that would go to our previous existing domain.
So do you have that domain as a standalone domain now?
My understanding from Lyle is yes, we do. We now have that ability to upload to that domain. Is that correct?
The original server, my understanding is that Gabriel shut it down because it was coming from anywhere from Germany to Sweden to Reykjavik. And he could bring it back up after he made it ADA compliant, but that it would only be up until September, August, when it was rolled over to .gov. And my impression was that at that point, we would have a landing page.
So you'll have a landing page when we get a new website. What he took down was being diverted through somewhere there, right?
Right.
And so we can do a redirect to something that's standing alone, but it's my understanding it's not standing alone. That's what you're telling me. It's not standing alone, or it is standing alone?
Up until Tuesday, he had full control of our domain. So
And he renewed the domain, correct?
he
Yes.
renewed the
So
domain.
Jefferson County Commission is the domain registrar of,
Tuesday, he made me technical contact for it. So
Well-
I've got limited
What,
control over things.
but Gabriel's Jefferson County Commission is the owner of the domain,
So-
the Jefferson County HLC.org. Is that correct, Lyle?
Jefferson County owns it.
Okay.
And he's going to transfer it to us, but it takes 2 months, 60 days
60
from the
days.
day that he renewed it to where he can give us full independent control of it. For now, we have like admin privileges to work on it, right? Is that right?
Right, but the actual server with all the files, we don't have access to.
No, he said it was an end of life server.
Yeah.
So we couldn't, because at first we were under the impression that he was going to be able to restore it somehow, just as it was, he was going to be able to fix whatever. But then he said no, that
Well,
couldn't be
all of
restored
us
like
are
that.
not IT experts around the table, and that's becoming more and more.
I am.
abundantly clear.
I'm an IT expert. That's what I do for my job.
Web design
Yes.
for 30 years, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
same
then-
here.
Then what I recommend is that we sit down with Gabriel and figure out next steps, because
Okay.
I will tell you, I am not an IT expert. And what I have heard from Gabriel and what I've heard around the table are inconsistent.
Okay.
And so it may be because I don't have understanding.
Well,
And so
and there
if
may
you'll
just
sit-
be a misunderstanding.
We're very
between-
close now at this point, because it's just, I mean, now we have the access to the domain, which was a problem for a while, that we didn't know the password. But we're just now just building it again.
Good. And you had to be a standalone website in 60 days.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be able to publish it sooner than that, but then he can
Okay.
transfer it fully to us in 60 days.
Okay.
Can
And
I-
then,
Sorry, can I just ask, because obviously she's been working all day and then doing,
Yeah.
trainings.
Yeah,
And just happened to be passing by, sort of, yanked her in off the street. What is the ask that we have for the administrator at this moment, or is there one?
John Henry seemed to have lots of questions
I
that he was
do.
targeting at me. so
What I would
said
like to know is
didn't
where is the server in question that was end of life? Where is that physically residing? And where is the data that comprises all of the website that formerly was hosted on Jefferson County HLC or Jefferson County WVHLC.org? Where does that server live? And
Thank you.
can we get full access to all of the WordPress admin files that are necessary to exactly recreate that website
And-
on a new web hosting site?
He thought he did. Gabriel thought he did.
Well, Lyle
So-
said differently
Yeah, and I
earlier,
told him
so is
that,
that?
and he didn't
cor-
respond to that direct thing,
And
but
and
Okay.
I just kind of want to again bring it back where,
yeah, that's not,
what
That's
do
not
we
for
want
her.
to ask
That's
Ms.
like a
Benitez
sh- yeah.
to do, or what can she help with?
Well, I just asked that question. Where is that where is that server located? Is that, because my understanding from the previous meeting was it was located on premise here, and that was out of policy for him to have a local server as opposed to wherever else
Yeah.
am I misunderstanding that? That was my previous meeting.
So I think that was my understanding as well, but Ms. Benitez has offered a meeting between Gabriel, so maybe we could move forward to arrange a meeting where these questions can come up, because
I think that's a great idea.
We
And I-
need a powwow big time.
Yeah.
Because there's so much going on
Yeah,
that,
yeah, and I'd love to be CC'd on that and attend that meeting in person and
I
resolve
would like
this,
to attend.
resolve this ASAP.
So I would
I'm
not
not
like to
coming.
attend that meeting because I don't know anything about what you all are talking about, but
I
I
want
would
nothing to
like,
do with that.
I would like Elizabeth, John Henry, Lyle, and Commissioner Heffestay, if that's possible. And whomever from IT.
so, and I think I've given you my link on to just book with me, if you want to send that to Lyle.
I'll look for
Or
it.
if you can give me Lyle's email, since we have each other's contact information, and then.
Yeah.
And then I can just give you, and we can set that up easily.
That sounds good.
Great. Thanks very much. I appreciate your help.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Your
Eddie.
name was being mentioned as you walked by, so it's unfortunate that the girl like, oh, I see her.
Thank you for your timely passing by.
Should we stop talking about it? You guys can decide in your meeting.
Yes.
I
Sounds like
support,
we
I
kind
support
of out
you.
of things to talk about, so we have
Oh.
that meeting.
Okay.
I don't want to ever talk about it again in this group.
Well, I think he's somewhat helpful because, I mean, I now have a headache just because I don't understand anything about IT and want to be a continued Luddite, so.
Well, Lyle and I were very
um,
close to the end. So, you know, it's unfortunate now we're
Yeah.
digging back in and trying to figure out all these parts. It doesn't matter. He's saying we can't have it the way it was, so we're just going to do it again. And after all this time, that's like the quickest way forward. So, okay, moving on. Osborne Farm, there was unauthorized metal detecting there that we discovered through a panicked call about they were out there and they found a unexploded artillery. They called me at work at the library and I had no idea that they had been metal detecting, and it was the people associated with the Shepherdstown Battlefield Preservation Association. And then they put out a press release that said that the metal detecting was routine, which was even more concerning. We have an easement that restricts that kind of activity on the property. So Elizabeth and I had a meeting with the land trust, and it is being dealt with now because there's, in the press release, it said over 100 artifacts have been found. They've since said that some of them are from neighboring farms, but some of those farms also have easements. That's not really our concern. We're concerned about our properties. And that there's an upcoming show of these artifacts at the Shepherdstown Museum. So that's just to keep everyone kind of informed about that. There's a meeting with the county lawyer on Friday.
And one of the action items that was taken from the meeting between us, the American Battlefield Protection Program, the American Battlefield Trust, and then the Land Trust of the Eastern Panhandle was that the property needs to be signed, specifically for no metal detecting, but then also potentially sharing some of the rules of the easement and providing a link to more information about the partnership between LTEP and the HLC. So I just wanted to open, I guess, this up for discussion about what you all think would be useful to the public and would protect the property as much as possible.
Well, first off, what other elements of the easement are, I don't have obviously in front of me all the elements of the easement, but some of those, it sounds like apart from metal detecting or removing of natural or cultural resources from the property, are there other ones that are particularly relevant?
So the only other stipulation that is, I think, particularly relevant is the prohibition against any vehicles parking on the grass to avoid soil compaction. So I think a sign featuring that would be helpful. The other thing that we learned from this meeting was previously we had been going on the assumption that the property being open for the peaceful enjoyment of all meant that it needed to be open the majority of the time, but the American Battlefield Trust and LTEP both shared that that can mean views from the road, or it can mean hours that the property is open. So Steve Grow, who is one of the prosecuting attorneys for the county, suggested putting hours up for a sign. So I don't know what you all think that
And
we should do.
I don't know if everyone's been there. It's a narrow lane back to the house. It lives in the house, they rent it from us, and then someone rents another outbuilding. So there's nowhere really to park when you go in there. You're driving around their driveway. So that's another thing like that's been talked about, is eventually putting parking, and then that would kind of open it up more to visitors, because at this point it's a field around a house. So it's not necessarily like easy for people to just get out and, I mean, they could walk around, I guess, but it's
Yeah.
tricky.
I think my thought is we have been in talks with the Land Trust of the Eastern Panhandle about amending the easement to allow for parking, because there is another prohibition that prevents any impervious surface from being laid down, and they understand that to mean gravel as well. They hold that it is.
Gravel's impervious?
They said,
That's their definition.
they're holding that it is impervious, which makes it kind of difficult because there are not a lot of other materials to have a parking area. But I guess my suggestion would be possibly closing the property except for event days, until such time as people could safely park. I don't think that would restrict any enjoyment of the cement mill, which has pull-off parking areas.
Yeah. Everything down by the road is open. It's Osborne Farm.
You said what I was already going to say. It's like, maybe would it make sense to just restrict overall access to that property until such time as we get
Well, and another thing, like I said, there was supposedly a bus tour that was going to come up there. We weren't informed. I found out from someone else. So, I mean, we also need to kind of create a policy about visitors because, I mean, it is certainly, I think, reasonable if it's a battlefield group coming, traveling there, and they want to contact us with certain amount of notice to look at the site. I think that that's fine. But especially with tenants there, I mean, we need to be informed of what's going on up there.
Would also seem a bit precarious for a bus.
3 buses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no
that's-
room to turn. a
There's no,
bus around.
well, they would, yeah, it would be really tricky. So those are things that I think kind of are going to take us a little time to think about exact rules for that. And maybe we can draft some stuff up of what we think is reasonable and kind of have just like we do with our bylaws.
Is there any relatively simple way that we could keep better tabs on who is accessing the property and when? I mean, because clearly people are without our knowledge and are planning events there without our knowledge.
Well, I've been talking to the people who rent. So, and just kind of, I asked them to tell me if they see anything too, but yeah. Other than putting a trail camera up, I don't know any other option. And our signs get stolen all the time down by the road. So on River Road. So I've thought about a trail camera down there because another sign just got stolen recently. So that's an option. I think we can talk about it more another time. I don't think we need to take action, but that's kind of more to inform everyone. I mean, if there's any other than maybe, I don't know, I don't know if the sign could say something about seeking permission. Our information is up at the bottom, at the end of the road. It has that we own the property and stuff. So, I mean, we could create a QR code too when our website's back up that, explains everything there. So maybe we'll put up a draft of something to go over. It's too hard to abstractly kind of come up with this right now, but we can talk about it in email and kind of hash it out. Does that sound okay? All right. Do you think it's okay to wait on that? And I mean, right now there's just a no metal detecting sign up, which I think is, that just can go up and we need one down on the main road.
I do think the one thing that should be decided today, if possible, are hours or some sort of decision about the openness of the property, because that is something that's coming up in.
What about just, I don't know the wording, but,
Dawn to dusk.
I mean, I don't want people up there until we have,
By appointment only?
that's what I'm saying, by appointment only or something like that. So, I mean, coming up with that language and then they can contact us if they want to schedule some kind of trip on the property. And I think that's the responsible thing to do while people are living in that house right now too. Because we don't want people just driving up, because I mean, the road in is their driveway. So,
And that, I think, was requested by council for enforceability purposes moving forward.
yeah. Do we need to vote on that?
I don't think it would be a bad idea.
Okay, so I move that we establish a rule and put up a sign that people must arrange visits to Osborne Farm.
I'll second that.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Did you want to talk, did you know the most about this, Lee. So if you want to talk about the establishment of discussions with Parks and Rec about the request of Sam Michaels to send it for designation of the property.
Sure. And Jack, let me know if I muddle anything since we crashed your meeting halfway through. I had calls to attend the Parks and Rec Commission meeting last month, and they communicated, Jennifer Myers, who is the executive director, communicated that a relation of descendant of Sam Michaels had reached out to them and believed that there should be an historic designation for Sam Michaels Park. There was definitely there were definitely some assumptions made by some of the Parks and Rec Commission members, not with any ill intent, but I know one person indicated that, well, if they do anything like that, they'll never be able to dig a hole again on the property, and things of that nature. So afterward, when I talked with Jennifer about, would she let us start a conversation with her, she was very open to it and, sort of didn't have any idea that this is not a super restrictive designation, but this is also something that could generate interest, tourism, and additional dollars spent there. So I would just, and I'm happy to do this if the commission is open to it. And Jack obviously serves on both too, so he can keep me in line. But I would like permission, as well as including Elizabeth, to have a conversation with the Parks and Rec staff, and then ultimately the Parks and Rec Commission about something that we might be able to do, or some sort of designation. Sam Michaels was sort of a very colorful character, and unfortunately, even if you go to the old newspaper archives, there's not a lot written about him, which is kind of interesting considering how prolific he was for the area. So I just think that it would be nice. The family member had been invited to attend that meeting, but they did not attend. But Jennifer said the next time that they reached out, she would include all of us as well. So if there's no objection to that, I would like to sort of start that conversation.
Yeah, that's fine. And really those, we don't generally vote on writing if you're doing a landmark nomination, it's because we vote on it after, you've written it, but I support you moving forward with that.
I just wanted to make sure, since it's in some ways unofficially liaising with
Mhm.
another board, I just didn't want anyone to come back and
And incidentally, you were very well behaved and professional.
I know I sat in the corner.
No, you were talkative in a good way.
Thank you.
Would you like a vote on that? Okay,
Not unless you think it's necessary.
I don't think it is.
Thank you.
All right, John Henry.
We're on to item G.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to discuss, honestly. Everything's written in the correspondence that I had with the WV Ethics Commission, and you guys got the original proposal. So I won't draw this out, other than to say that I think things are going pretty well so far. SPX is on board. I hashed out the details with John Roush yesterday on a call, and those details are, in the email I sent. Basically, we just can't appear to be, explicitly endorsing this product. If there's an overriding public benefit for this partnership, then it's permissible per various codes of, West Virginia ethics laws. And so the next step is basically to take that draft legal agreement that I also attached, send it to the Ethics Commission, get their approval, stamp of approval on it, show it to County Attorney Nathan Cochran, our Assistant County Attorney Nathan Cochran, and get everybody's go-ahead, and then send that on to SPX, who will then probably have their own legal team review it and get back in touch with us with any updates or edits they have. Probably then would go to another round of approval for us, just to make sure we're dotting our
You're a
I's and
wi-
crossing
you're
our
a wise
T's.
Man, because what I've learned over the past couple of years, you need to have legal on your side or you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
So keeping them informed and in the game early is a good move. So.
Yeah, I don't want us to run afoul of any state or local guidelines on ethics and appearance of impartiality or whatever. But I do think that this partnership has overriding public benefit. I think it can help us with the work that we're doing, and specifically some of the stuff we mentioned earlier in this meeting as far as GPR, and might save us some money on other GPR initiatives. But it's still to be approved by SPX and their lawyers. So once I've heard back from WV State Ethics and Nathan Cochran, I'll go ahead and forward that on to SPX for their review.
Agree.
May I ask what the timeline is? Have they given you any indication?
Who, SPX?
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought would ideally begin in May
Okay.
next month. So I've got that draft pretty much ready to go. I'm going to send it to State Ethics today or tomorrow. Maybe it'll be like a week or two turnaround from them. So I think we're on track for that timeline for maybe mid-May, depends on how long their lawyers take to review it, but,
Okay. Thank you.
so.
Ready?
Do you have anything to say?
I guess I have another question. So to clarify, this is just for the machine. We would have to provide someone to operate it.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe we would need to have someone operate the machine and interpret the results.
Okay.
My understanding is this is basically machine rental, but there may be some changes to that regard in terms of the amount of processing and analysis that they're willing to do. So
And
asterisk.
it does look like they are doing 2 days of training. Is that-
Okay.
Is that, it says in the scope of work, there are 2 on-site training days and remote support and some checkups.
Great. All right.
And that might not be enough to get somebody from 0 to hero on this, but that's got to be
Yeah.
a step in the right.
Yeah, I wouldn't
direction.
do it like, for example, like at Johnsontown, I wouldn't consider that an equal replacement of doing GPR because I would want the results to be checked by a professional.
Yeah. Well, my understanding from Lyle is he's got at least enough experience to get us going on GPR.
Basic
so.
knowledge. But yeah, my understanding from the phone call that we did with them was that we would make arrangements to pick it up on X day that fit in their schedule and use it and then return it. And then we'd process and analyze it, and time allowing, they would help us review the data.
Right. And I'm doing some training courses myself on GPR analysis. And so I hope to, provide as much technical input to it as I can as well. So,
And on that note, we had Shepherd come in and do, I don't remember the size of the area, at the Roman burial grounds in Shepherdstown. I guess it was fall. We just got the data back. So this is a cemetery the land was purchased in 1795, 4 or 5, something like that, for a cemetery. The test area, we're pretty sure there's several graves there because of the topography. And basically there's a lot of roots and a few rocks, and there's no signs of graves. So don't know if that's the equipment or what, but so.
Yeah, the equipment makes a difference because at
Yeah.
Kearneysville Methodist, we had 2 different people do GPR, and one of those people found double the number of graves. It was much more expensive, but it's because he had better equipment. So yeah, it makes a difference. So I'm not sure what kind of, I don't know how this compares to other stuff, but you gotta go.
well, it'd be good to find out
Go
what
for
equipment
it.
they were using to try to get ideally the best equipment we can from SPX so we can get
I
as
have both of
accurate.
those reports from the GPR, so I'll see if it mentions the equipment.
Great.
And I have the one from Charlestown downtown. Did you need us to vote on something?
I don't think so.
You were just talking about it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a vote here. I think it's really just proceeding with what we previously voted on, which is to, pursue this and hopefully get it signed.
All right. Since Lyle stepped out, we'll move on to social media report.
Overall, the trends are up for our Facebook and our Instagram account. We've gained 179 followers on Facebook, and we have an increase in 5% in interactions, which is pretty nominal. On Instagram, we have an increase of 12 followers, which is pretty good for us. Normally, it's like 2 to 4. So overall, things are going pretty well.
Cemetery projects, I think Lyle is applying for the Eastern West Virginia grant for the Catholic cemetery. He's going to pay someone to do GPR with good equipment. So I think that's what he's doing.
Could we also apply for Mount Zion to do GPR with that fund? Do you know when the funding cycle is? Or
It's
too late?
tricky. I don't know.
Okay.
We maybe could. I'm applying for Mount Pleasant. I've been working there for the past year to clean it up. And so I'm going to put a sign there and hopefully get the rest of the brush removed. And I might apply for another one as well.
Isn't the deadline May 1st? Does that seem right? For that particular grant?
Maybe. It's probably soon.
Can we just jump back to social media real quick? Is there like a overall guiding plan for social media and what our goals are for growth and kind of what we're trying to do in general with it?
Yeah, so the overall goal is just to inform people within the county and those farther afield about historic resources within the county. So typically that has looked like highlighting either buildings that are on the county register or on the national register. Although since I have started, I've been moving away from private homes unless they are also documented kind of on a broader scale, like in the HABS program, because we have gotten a few new homeowners who are concerned about their property being displayed. And really, whenever we post anything, there are a number of people in the comments saying, "What's the address?" which we
Right.
cannot give out.
Right.
I was briefly trying to focus more on modern style buildings, but that did really, really poorly. People seem to like a federal style building very much. So that's a lot of what I post. And then since our meeting with SHPO HLC coordinator Claire Tryon, I've also been posting the agendas to just kind of open up another channel for clear communication about our meetings.
Cool. Thank you.
So the only other things about cemeteries is Rotary of Shepherdstown is coming to 2 different cemeteries on April 25th. They're coming to Rose Hill and Shepherdstown, and then May 9th, they're coming to Kearneysville. And we have Shepherd coming to Rose Hill the same week as Rotary. So they're coming Monday, the 20th. And Lyle and I we're going to reset a grave, fix up some stuff, and they're going to clean and do some mapping documentation there. So
What was May? May what?
May 9th is Kearneysville.
Oh,
Rotary's
it's already
coming.
on
Oh, yeah, oh, good.
Okay.
I have one grave just fell, so I need help. It actually could just be pried up, but, okay, so, and I said the update about you're going to probably apply for the Catholic cemetery.
We have applied,
You did already?
yeah, we applied for $4,000 for the Eastern West Virginia Community
Foundation?
Foundation. We have also applied to the Diocese of Wheeling, Charleston for $2,400, I think, is the balance to get Geomodal to come in and do the GPR there.
Great. Okay, our properties, James Osborne, we got the one update. Also the renters, their lease is up, so they're going to renew and they're getting another roommate. And so the property management company thought we should raise the rent. So we're going to see about raising it just $100. They have a lot of issues out there, so I feel like I don't want them to have to pay too much for what they deal with snakes and everything else. The house will be in great shape eventually because we've replaced so much stuff since people have moved in there. Duffield's Depot.
Duffields. Did you guys do the treasurer's report?
Oh, no, we got to go back. Sorry, you weren't
Okay.
in here. Treasurer's
Yeah,
report.
Sorry about the call. Checking balance as of 2/11/26 was $32,480.31. We've had expenses of $1,886.23, income of $1,200. So we've had a net loss of $686.23. Checking balance of, as of 4/6/26, is $31,529.52. Sorry.
Sorry.
Savings balance as of 1/31/26 was $30,406.51. Interest at the end of February was $81.63. March was $90.63. So savings balance is now $30,578.77. Total assets are $62,108.29. Everything's paid up.
I move to approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Duffields Depot.
Duffields. The Ransom grant paid for 2 dump truck loads that we got in December, paid for 2 dump truck loads of soil that we used for a handicap ramp we just modified the grade a little bit. We got Blaze Shipley, who does the mowing for the Landmarks Commission, to come in. We paid for a load of shale to go under the soil. Last week he came in and did all the grading. The handicap ramp is there. I bought a 50-pound bag of grass seed. I put down about probably 30, 35 pounds of grass seed and 5 bales of straw on top of that. So hopefully that'll all be growing soon.
I drove by there on the weekend and I think I saw some green. So
Oh, yay. That's great. So that has taken care of, and that was $800 for the grading and the grading in the shale that was put in. We had gotten bids on removing the lath and plaster from the interior. It's like September, I think. We got 3 bids. We took the lowest bid and he is scheduled to start later this week.
Right, Peter Bear.
I hear that the water was turned on and then turned off again, but will be back on again on Friday since someone found a tap that was open. Thank you.
Where was it?
The tap was in the
Yeah.
women's restroom.
Oh,
I fear it was my fault because I drained the pipes.
I did hear a response for bread baking. I heard did get a response from Wayne Brownstein. He did not mention anything about bread, but we are going to talk hopefully this week or this weekend, and we'll see if we can get something going there. I'll turn over for the plein air workshop to you in a second, but something that came to my attention when we were doing latch repair on a door that wouldn't latch anymore. There is some repairs needed upstairs at the Peter Burr House. There are some places where the wall kind of doesn't exist. There's a lot of bad plaster up there and it seems to be mostly stabilized. They just put in some braces to hold it up. But these are things that we should probably either restore or at least stabilize a little better at some point in the relatively near future. So we might want to start looking at how we might want to go about that. But that's something we'll obviously have to discuss. Do we have a new door for the root cellar?
Not yet.
Still in the works.
Yeah, I was recently out there for the petty inspection for the termite traps. Everything's good with that. While I was out there, I had heard about the plaster work. Yeah, I think we really probably are going to have to pull a lot of lath and plaster down and replace it rather than try to patch it up. It's pretty major damage. I had told David
It does
about
look like old damage. It's from when they,
Before the-
clearly before they replaced
before the roof,
So
yeah.
it's,
yeah.
it shouldn't be getting any worse, but it is not in good shape.
Right. Very, very bad shape. I also looked, while I was there, I looked at the repairs to the chicken wire on the barn to keep the buzzards out. And one buzzard has managed to fight its way through. So we need to see if we can maybe get it out before it gets a nest built.
And that's sad because it must have really wanted to get in there. And we
Oh,
know
yeah.
that that is not a
Yeah.
successful nesting location for them because we found the dead chick in there
Found the
last year.
dead chick, yeah. So
Well, we'll get on that. Upcoming event?
Oh, goodness. So we've got two upcoming events. The first is the Community Planting Day on Saturday. So a volunteer and I believe Lyle will be doing prep work on Friday, and then a representative from the Kakapen Institute will guide us through actually putting the trees in the holes and tamping down the dirt on Saturday. And then the next Saturday, we will have a watercolor workshop also in front of the building. I think everything is set up for that. So we do only have 4 participants. I'm trying to think of every single institution that relates to children that I can send.
Okay, I'll put it out there.
I would appreciate that.
And Johnsontown, we kind of already gave an update on that. So we're working on the electric and we need to wait for the trustees to get their paperwork in order because all of the former trustees have passed away. So
Can I just ask a general question about Johnsontown that was
Mhm.
posed to me? And I said, I don't know, ask Addison. And then they said, you ask Addison. Is there indoor plumbing or was there, or has it always been outdoor plumbing?
I think there's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I learned from Shum Sherrard that even the houses around the church didn't have indoor plumbing until I think about the 70s. And he said his grandparents refused to get it. They were like, no, thank you.
Yeah, so we're just waiting on that and then figuring out about, I guess you guys have accepted us moving forward with ground penetrating radar, so we should see about who we can get out there and just do both sides of the driveway while we're at it. There's just, I mean, most of that cemetery is full. There's just a section right in front of the church where they have kind of an area you can drive in. So I think the entire square in front of the church should be scanned while we have someone there. I mean, it probably wouldn't be the difference of very much money. So,
Do you know when, is it still active? I mean, are people still being buried or when was the last burial?
yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody was buried this year, I think, or 2025. All right, is there anything else anyone has?
Just a quick question on the historical placard at Johnsontown. When's the last time that was kind of refreshed or repainted? You know, is it?
Do you mean the informational booth at
Yeah,
Peter
yeah,
Burr?
yeah.
So
No, the Johnsontown actual.
That's maintained by
Placard.
the
Do-
highway department, isn't it? Or the
Okay.
state archives is on there, but I mean, it still looks fine.
We don't have anything to do with those
No.
signs though.
That's a state thing.
That's a state thing.
Yeah.
Could I just put in a plug, the Shenandoah Potomac Garden Council's 68th annual House and Garden Tour. There are 2 homes from Jefferson County this year, Rose Hill, which is on Edgewood School Road, and then a home on Samuel Street, which is a little bit newer. But for those who might be interested, unfortunately, I know there are a lot of conflicts with dates, but every year I'm told that I've been on this commission that I have to plug it. So I'm doing as I'm told.
Yeah.
When is that?
It is the last Saturday and Sunday of April.
25th and 6th.
I believe so.
And make sure that all of your garden club contacts know about the tree planting and we could use help planting trees and bushes.
My contacts are minimal
It
in that
goes both
regard,
ways,
but I'll
please.
try.
Yeah,
Even if you get one.
all right. Does somebody move to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
I-
Okay, the meeting ends at 8:33.